welcome to SLS Impact Room, where every conversation creates impact. As we all know, the barrister tag is a golden ticket in Nigeria. So today's big question, do you become a lawyer for the money or for the mission? So with me is a special guest, a woman of substance. Please kindly introduce yourself now.
Royal Princess, Barrister Ngozi Ukeria Anyanwu. I'm a human rights activist, legal practitioner, NGO, NGO handler, a businesswoman, and a real estate consultant.
Nice. Welcome to the podcast, ma'am. So, many people in Nigeria study law for different reasons: prestige, parental pressure, passion, or influence. In your view, what should be the right personal reason for someone to choose the legal profession?
In my view, should be the passion. The passion for the rule of law, to uphold the rule of law. Because that is what we actually stand for. Like the Nigerian Bar Association, our motto is actually to uphold the rule of law. And we're supposed to be ministers in the temple of justice. So for somebody to decide to read law, you should first of all have a passion to fight for justice at all costs, and to be that voice of the voiceless. For me, I like to be the voice of the voiceless and stand for the downtrodden and those that cannot talk for themselves or speak for themselves. Maybe that's why God made me a talkative, so that those that cannot talk are able to talk for them. You understand? Yeah.
So, when you look at the young Nigerians entering the legal profession today, do you think most of them are driven by passion or by the reputation and status that comes with being called a barrister?
Well. I wouldn't say this way or that way, because will I say I'm an analog, an old lawyer of those days, conventional, conservative. You understand? But the younger lawyers now, although the profession is ab initio conservative, the younger lawyers, some of them don't see it that way. They just study it for the passion. I know some of them still study it for the passion, but it goes at the same time with the prestige and the money, the financial, yes, aspect. Because no matter how we look at it these days, because of after the recession and the COVID all over the world, people became intentional about the courses they actually study, so that they can impact positively and financially on their families and be able to take care of their children and beneficiary dependents. You understand? So just like the medical profession, a lot of people go into medicine for the money. Not even some that even hate seeing blood now brace it to be able to go into that profession because of what comes from it. Then while they are being trained in the process, the emotional part of saving a life comes in. The same thing happens with the legal profession too. For some people, they got in because they like the way they dress. Our lawyers are always dressed so well. You see them in their profession. In fact, when they are doing their procession, and people just give way for them. They wear this wig and gown. They look so good and so prestigious, and they just want to be a part of it. There are some lawyers that actually started studying law because of the way the outlook and the way the lawyers carry themselves, the decorum, and you can't see a lawyer just eating granite outside, just throw granite and use mouth to catch it. That's sad. They like that swag, you understand? So a lot of them got in because of that. As children, they just idolize lawyers. But eventually, the passion came in when you now see real life cases of people being just downtrodden.
Yeah. What about the case of when people go through law school and don't make well? Because they are not smart enough or intelligent?
When you go through law school and you don't make it, you try again. If you're resilient, one day you will make it. You have 8 chances. You have 8 chances.
Why do they get it?
They give 8. It is not really easy to pass the exams once. I passed once, yes. To God be the glory, yes. But it's not really easy because the marking system is different. It's not your usual marking system. For instance, if you got all A's,
Wow.
and you failed one course, you get a conditional pass. There's nothing like calculating and getting your average.
Wow.
And that conditional pass means that you will not be called to the bar. You have to come with the next set to take that course again. But if you failed 2 courses, you failed. Let's say you made A, and you now failed 2 courses. Got a fail. You just got a fail. That's it. You have to retake everything, even those ones you passed. Yes.
That's why it involves more passion, because the more you keep repeating.
Yes, it's resilience, and persistence, and you keep fighting and you keep fighting. I really want to be this. I really want to be a lawyer. I must be a lawyer, because if you go there twice, when we talk about burning candles, midnight candles, it's actually in the law school that you actually feel the midnight candle. I remember when I took my bar exam, my final paper, immediately I finished writing it, I collapsed out. I got out of that Supreme Court, that was my center. I got out of that place in an ambulance. And I woke up 3 days later. Because I kept myself awake. Just studying. Then I decided to load myself on caffeine so that I would not sleep. And I didn't sleep for like a week, through the exam. My last paper, my body was already reacting. I shaking to that, that caffeine. I know now it's maybe my body went into shock or like. So while I was writing my final paper, which was professional ethics, I remember the invigilator was telling me that I should go and rest, that I should not take this course, I should come back. I said, no, I don't want to have a conditional pass, because I know that if I fail that, every other thing I had written, that means I'll have to come back. And I didn't want to repeat, because throughout my university, I didn't even have one carryover. So to come to law school and not go, I said, no, this chance, I will not miss it. So I kept writing. Sometimes I'll wake up, I'll see that I had already slept off.
And it has nothing to do with cramming. You can't cram.
No. I don't know how you're going to cram real life situations, because your questions are given to you, real life situations are given to you as your questions. So what you have to know is the authorities for the different principles. The authorities meaning the sections. Of course, maybe that's where the cramming will come in. The sections, the cases, that's judicial precedents, we call it seditious decisis. Those the judicial precedents, all those cases, authority, locus classicus cases, for some particular principles that you have to apply to some issues to get a judgment. Because when you're writing an exam in law, even in law and even in the law at the law school, at the bar exam, you're actually writing either you're arguing for or you're arguing against, or sometimes they just tell you to analyze. You now become like, you will also argue for and against and decide it. So at the same time, you're being taught to be a judge at that point. Yes, you're already being taught to be whatever you want to be as a lawyer. Whatever any height you want to be as a lawyer, you understand? You're already being taught at the law school. So every other thing now depends on how many years, how long you have been practicing before you get to this, how long so that is why it's a real drill. It's a real drill.
Interesting. Well, could you have loved any of your children to be a lawyer?
Yes. I would want. One of them says she will be a lawyer, husband. Wow. She's the only one that agreed to be a lawyer or he's interested. Because my father is on the science as the side, and being an engineer. My children got the genes mostly. And of course, my husband, that's their father, also an engineer. So there's more of the sciences
In your farm.
in their bloodline, in my children's bloodline, and the arts. The arts they like is when it comes to designing, fine arts and all that. That's the aspect of arts. Yeah, but advocacy and all that is not really their forte, as in they get tired of, okay, like we are talking, you're talking, you're advocating, you're always on the move. They keep telling me, Mom, you're always on the move, I can't cope. There was a time I told one of them to become my PA. She said she couldn't cope. You have a lot of places to go. You might just be around, like, even as a frontline responder, it's even worse for us because we do pro bono. They call you, you're going to run, you're going to use your money, you're going to use your fuel to run to the aid of somebody that is crying somewhere, somebody that is being molested somewhere, somebody that is being trampled upon somewhere, somebody whose rights had been taken, somebody that is being intimidated somewhere, or somebody that was killed for no just cause. You understand? So
That's been a wonderful job. So looking back at your own journey, what was the real reason you chose to study law? Or do you think that the reason still matters in how you practice it?
yeah, the reason I chose to study law was actually to stand up for justice. From the time I was little, I had always been known to be. In fact, some of my primary school mates, secondary school mates, that I didn't see for a while, and later we reconnected, just said, yeah, what did you study eventually? I said, I'm a lawyer now. Say, no, we are not surprised.
You always know.
We've always told you. There was a time they started calling me a one-man squad in school, secondary school. I would stand against those bullies. And I would take up the case of another person being bullied.
And you always win.
I was very, very resilient. I'll be like, to the extent that some of these bullies started calling me a terrorist. Jeez. They said, is it that terrorist? Please let that terrorist not come near us. So, where is she? What's she doing here? What's she doing here? She's a terrorist. Just because I did not allow them get their way. Because I would stand for a friend. Like, I believe in loyalty. And I think that's the main thing that was my driving force. I believed in loyalty, faithfulness. Loyalty, if I stand with you, I'm standing Kidiba. It's like, sometimes I wondered whether I was what's it called, a Hitler follower in those days in my past life, because I don't know that kind of I was more like as if there's a dogma, like, I'm loyal, I'm faithful, I must be loyal, I must be faithful. It keeps ringing in my head. So I will not be there and somebody I know will be in trouble and I'll sit.
I want you now.
The funniest thing is that I won't be able to sleep. It will be as if I'm buying cases. That sometimes some people will tell me, don't cry more than the bereaved. That saying comes a lot around me, around my ears. Don't cry more than the, because I will just stand out. So I think that was a driving force
For it.
Yes. So I always said I'll be a lawyer, I'll fight for justice. That's what I used to. And I used to visualize myself in the courts, wearing that wig and gown. And sometimes when we were buying clothes as children, I'll look for the darker clothes or clothes that look like a more corporate. I'll say, this one looks like a lawyer's clothes. I want to wear this. So I had already started, most my uncles were already calling me a little lawyer, and even as a child. Yes. So my getting into it was more like, okay, she just flowed into what we already expected her to do. Although my dad did not want me to be a lawyer. He wanted me to read medicine. I was very good with biology. I made an A in biology. I was very, very good in sciences, and I was good in arts. So he wanted me to become a medical doctor.
Instead of a lawyer.
Instead of a lawyer, yes. In fact, he thought I was going to be a lawyer. So just one day, when my results came back, in those days, your parents will tell you what's not now that you guys would choose what you want. In those days, in our old time, they'll sit you down and tell you what you'll study.
But do you think that's fair?
It's not. But that was our reality then, and we didn't see it as anything strange. We didn't see it as something strange.
Yeah.
You understand?
As long as they're paying the bills.
They are paying the bill, so they are the ones feeding you. They are paying the bill, so they'll tell you what you study.
You study.
And they say you're going to be a this. You'll be this. You'll be that. Now we know. Then like you'll be a medical doctor. My mother will say you'll be a lawyer. No, a medical doctor. No, she's better in law. A little bit of arguments. Then eventually
the child pick what.
Then eventually, when I was in SS class, I was in mixture of science and law. Then gradually I dropped the science. So my father wasn't aware. So he paid for my WAEC, paid for my jam. It was that when my results came out, he was just looking at it. Government, English, literature. No, first he saw maths, biology. He was like, it's alphabetical order. He saw biology. He was like, okay, biology, yeah. Maths, okay, government. See, so where is the physics and chemistry now? I look, I said, no, man, as student, I want to read law. Yeah. I guess yes, and fix slap. Was that what I sent you to school to go and study? I said you should read medicine, not law. In those days. But now, eventually, I believe that he must have been happy that I studied law, because I'm not, of course, I'm not the only child. I have other siblings that could take up sciences. So that wasn't a problem eventually.
That's good. Well, have you experienced any challenges whatsoever?
And in the legal profession, yes. Yes, I challenges like being a female lawyer. You experience challenges sometimes most of us experience challenges within the marriage or the chauvinist society.
Okay.
A lawyer is a gentleman, whether she's a woman or a man. But in the layman's society, like the society itself, the Nigerian society, especially in the Southeast, we have male chauvinists. There's a lot of patriarchy. So, and some of them believe that the law should be for the women and for the men, not the women. So when you're a lawyer and you get into marriage, maybe you get married, you notice that sometimes the husband's family, something a pepper seller would say to the husband and get away with it and say, don't stress me. They'll say, oh, go, you, don't stress me. Like a pepper seller, assuming a pepper seller said that to the husband. No, it will be nothing. Women, you're always talking. The man will just get away. But if a lawyer, there is a female lawyer that is married, even says less to the husband, they'll say, I told you. Why did you marry her? She has started acting. She's acting. Is one of she is acting. She is acting. You see, law is showing. He's showing.
Oh, God have mercy.
That is one of our challenges. Then another challenge we have is giving birth. Like when you give birth, you go to the courts. Most of the courts don't have room for crèche where you can drop your baby and attend to your cases and come back and take your baby back. That is what we still appeal, for. Yes, to the government to please consider us in that regard. Yeah, we are gentlemen, but we are men with womb. So we are men with wombs, right? We have children. We also give birth to children. So they should remember that aspect. Do you understand? Yeah. So that's
So what advice for the young lawyers or coming lawyers?
Yeah, just hold on to your passion and always remember justice first. You're first a minister at the temple of justice before being your client's lawyer.
Wow, that's deep.
It is very deep.
Yeah.
So in a situation where your client comes to you and tells you, you know what, I killed that man, but say that I didn't kill. You should remember that you don't have to cover evidence. You now say, okay, okay, this is going to, don't say you did this. So if you say that, they'll hold you. If you say this, they'll catch you. If you do this, they'll catch you. Go and cover this evidence. Do this. I know what to do. You'll be pronounced innocent. You understand? Remember, you're first a minister in the temple of justice before being your client's lawyer. When your client comes to you and tells you that there's a widow down there that has land, but I want that land to be mine. I know that widow is the rightful owner of that land, but I want it. Do what you can do. Let that land be mine. As a lawyer, you know some kind of things you can do, and something that belongs to another can actually belong to another. But remember that you're a minister in the temple of justice. So that would make you tell the man, I'll tell you the truth. I will not take your case. And I advise you not to do this to this widow. I've lost a lot of clients like that, where they would come, and I'll know, like, if you're a lawyer and somebody comes to you and you know that this case does not favor that person.
Okay.
You know that person will fail.
Yes.
You know that client is doomed. There's no way he will get ahead in this matter, because ab initio, as a lawyer, you already know the client that will win or not.
Or not, yes.
What you're going to do, if it's in a criminal case, for instance, you go to see whether justice can be tempered with mercy.
With mercy, okay.
Do you understand? In a civil matter, you go to see whether there's a way the settlement will not be, or maybe there's a settlement out of court or something. That is what I believe in. You understand? But not to cover material evidence to favor somebody. So if somebody comes to me and tells me, because there's and tells me, for instance, I'm an old man, I'm 85, I just married an 18 years old girl. The girl said I should chase away all my children from my house, that they are disturbing her. I want you to evict all my children. I know it's easy for me to do that, and after all, the house is his. That they are all adults. Evict them, give them quick notice. They are all adults, because you can't evict a minor.
A minor, yes.
Yes. So, like, okay, I could actually say, okay, pay me so and so. Let me do that. But I'll tell the old man, is it not? I did. It's not your children. You're 85. I mean, if that 18 years old girl you said is pregnant now gives birth, where will you be when that child is 20?
Exactly.
Do you think that baby can bury you when you die? The people that will still bring their money, take you to the morgue, do everything to bury you, will still be the older ones.
Yes.
So why don't you go home, try and make peace between your first wife, second wife, and the children. Let them be in unity. Because in the end, you, the man, you will go. Those women will go. The children are the ones that will be left with each other. They will have only each other.
That's interesting. You mentioned being into real estate. When it comes to lawyers and the land, some people buy fake lands without knowing this, thinking that the paper is actually original. So how do you deal with that?
You consult a lawyer when you want to buy a land. The lawyer will be involved and do the necessary legal search. The necessary search needed. There are some things we look out for. Even a power of attorney, I can see a seal, like a lawyer's seal that is fake. You will really notice if you're a lawyer. You'll be able to identify it. Then you go into the root title of that land. You'll ask for the what they call it again. You ask for the root title. We call it sorry, my brain is giving me vibes. We call it recitals. And don't mind me, old age. Sometimes I just forget something that is at my tip, but my brain and my tongue will not connect at the same time. Yeah. So you ask for the recital. So you understand. Or if it's a registered deed, a registered title, that title documents, you go to the ministry, to the land registry, to search. to do a search and know whether that land has been used to collect money. Because sometimes you could buy a property that is legit,
Okay.
but the person used it to collect money.
Collect loan. Okay.
So when you're drafting your power of attorney, it's always good to also put that clause in case there's any encumbrance. A loan is also an encumbrance.
Okay.
The person that sold it to you will indemnify you, return the money you pay to that person fully.
Wow.
And with interest, calculated interest. So that would deter whoever is going to sign. If he knows that he's borrowed money with this plan, he will not want to go for that. So you have a lot.
That's interesting.
And when it's registered, you know that you would have 2 copies. You go to the registry, you see 1 copy.
Let's see one copy. Okay.
Yes. And the person will have to. But when it's not registered, it's usually 3 copies.
Okay.
So that's what.
Thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yes. Yeah, best regards.
Thank you.